last question. There's one thing I wonder. When you meet young people coming out of university, like the kids I produce, is there something you feel like is missing or misguided in the way we train them, or that you think they should know and they don't? What do you think?
There's one thing that I miss more and more, and that frustrates me a little bit, is that when I was, let's say, when I was 20 years old or even younger, the other people I was hanging out with who were also dealing with computers, like, enjoyed it immensely. They wrote games, they learned assembler on their own, they found, magazines with pieces of listing they would copy and understand and reverse engineer and improve upon. And there is something about how exciting and how fascinating it is. It's not a universal thing, but we see more and more people to whom it's just a job, to whom computers are just a mean to pay for the bills, and that's it. And it's perfectly respectable. I'm not in the business of telling people how they should feel, but when I hire people, that's my question is, what language do you use for your own stuff? And I don't know, 20, 30, 40% of the cases, I hear people telling me, I have no own stuff. I do what I'm asked in college, and that's it. And I think that, and yet, compare this with, when I was a teenager, owning a computer, and trust me, what we use as computer does not qualify as a computer today. The price of computers have fallen down. The availability is crazy. To claim another platitude, telephones and internet are prevalent. So all this is available. We have to struggle to get there. And the part I miss is that part of passion. And more specifically, understanding that coding is not instructing, putting a number of things together so that the computer does something. Coding is about putting together an artifact that must be consistent, that must be correct, that must be compelling, that must be structured, that must be awe-inspiring, and so on and so on and so forth. And that is something that we have to teach people all the time. I've learned. I mean, I'm getting a little bit wiser with age. I no longer get upset or angry over this. But when kids used to tell me, "But it works," I say, "Well, that's the bare minimum that it works." And I say, "Well, it doesn't work. It appears to work. Proving that it works is a different thing." Is it Dijkstra who said there are two ways of writing programs? One in which there is no obvious bug, and one in which there obviously is no bug. The second one being significantly harder than the first. And that is this idea of that writing code is about building an artifact. It's like writing prose. It's like, I don't want to get too excited about saying it's being like poetry, but there's something to say about the form. When I say the form, I mean literally the indentation that depicts something, that conveys a message. That is totally lost. I mean, the coding skill have to be usually retaught from scratch. From scratch. Say, okay, this is not how, and the fact that it works is not the point. And there are extreme cases. I can, this is probably not the right forum for this, but I can name a few examples of people using loops as cheap ways of doing if then else just because it works, even though it makes no sense to the reader. But that's, so that, if you ask me, that's something that I'm missing. And from time to time, we bump into someone who is exactly like this. Sorry, exactly like the way we were as teenagers, excited, doing things on their own, loving a piece of code when it's nicely written. And with those people, we achieve absolute wonders, absolute wonders. And it's not just a matter of pure intellect. It's really not. It's a matter of developing a taste for the quality of these artifacts.
I'll just sort of have one thought as a sort of comeback. So I think what I heard is that the intensity of the passion for computing has changed over the years, and in the last 10 years at the university I teach, our intro computer science class went from 400 students to 1,000, doubled, say. more universities are teaching computer science, so we're outputting so many more people. You know, question: are these people passionate? There's not that many passionate people, right? Most of them are there because it's a well-paying job, because it's the future, because AI, because so we have to deal with the fact that the people that are coming out of computer science departments are different than they were 20 years ago, and just as much as when I came in, I was different from the generations before, right? And then computer science is expanding. We're getting new disciplines like AI, more security, human factors, all sorts
Data
of
science.
yeah, all sorts of things. But the amount of time we have to teach is the same. So something has to fall off, So we get smaller programming assignments, simpler, fewer programming languages. It's Python and something. So it's changing. I mean, not to sound like an old fart who's complaining, but my point is, it's just adjustment, change, and and we have to adjust. My next goal is to understand ChatGPT enough to be able to know how to help students use it. They will use it. I can't say no. There's nothing I can do, but at least I should, tell them, how to learn with this tool, right? As opposed to just have the tool do their work and then, eventually end up in a job and not know nothing.
I think this is going to be our final question. What do you think of AI, not as a general matter, but applied to the trade of computing, to our trade? We are writing code, we are writing compilers. Where and how does AI influence, if it
I mean,
does?
it'll be a tool. It'll be a tool, and the people who will know how to use it will get ahead, and those who will not, well, will not. It is, sort of completely unavoidable. Why, do you turn off autocorrect? Usually not, right? It's a tool. Do you turn off, sort of the automatic expansions of file name? No, it's a tool. So the AI will be a tool like that. It will propose you bits of code, and your job will be to figure out, is this the right bit of code? Should I change it? I think for me, what I see as potentially cool is when you have large refactorings. Say you want to add a new class to a system, or change a method, changed it an extra argument, and this is a cross-cutting change. You can say, well, we had refactoring tool, maybe we could use something that that does it, that proposes a potential change for me, using some of the machinery of AI. So tools that write code for you are probably a good thing. They're certainly unavoidable. The risk is, of course, you will use them without understanding what they are doing, and there will be many people who will do that because they don't understand, and it gets them along, and so we will generate much more code faster, and the challenge will be to make sure that that code is right, and that will be I mean, it's not that different from today. It's just, I think, the speed, the scale of it will change, and back to yes, there are pieces of code that don't matter so much, so you will say okay, fine, it bugs from time to time, and others will be more critical, but it is coming. It is unavoidable. You know what we just have to learn how to use it. Is my current feeling, and as an educator, it is specifically is especially challenging because all of this, usually the way you structure teaching is simple tasks build on larger tasks, and those simple tasks are very easily done automatically by the AI. So how do we have a learning sequence where people can actually learn the basics, right? Because if you jump directly to large pieces of code and say, oh, the AI has generated 500 lines of code, is it right? How can they know, right? If they've never built the small pieces. So it's it is a very interesting moment for education now, and I'm curious to see how this plays out.
It is a very interesting time. That there's no question about this. I really agree with you. Generally, there's one word, but that's very much my world more than yours. It's responsibility. The real issue I see with AI when it assists in any task, and say any task, I now have customers coming to me and say, "Can we do this using AI?" And I try to remain polite, but I say, well, these people are watching way too much TV for their own good. But the real issue I have is with responsibility. We as coders, we as developers, we as an industry, we are responsible for delivering working software, and that's what we do, and that's what we're supposed to do. And when something goes wrong, it's on us. The moral hazard that comes with, let's take code that comes from an AI engine of some kind and have it do it. Obviously, say, you have to check it, you have to make sure it's okay. But the moral hazard of saying, it has been absolutely fine the 99 other times, I'm just going to let this one slip, is gigantic. And you know what? You're going to be rewarded for your boss because you're going to be more productive. But when something fails, it's going to be on you. Nobody is going to come and say, it's not your fault, it's the AI engine who did it. It's not you. Of course, it is you. And that's the part where there are so many bad incentives. Like, managers saying, you should be more productive. Look what an AI can do for you. Well, the answer should be, if you want the AI to write it for me, you sign me here and now that you're responsible for whatever flow comes out of it, and then I'm good. And obviously, we both know this is never going to happen. That's the part that I'm missing in all the conversations about AI. It's not how great it is. It really is. I'm like everybody else. When I look at them,
it's risk management, right? Essentially, you're saying, what is the cost of?
It's not just the risk management; it's the responsibility that goes together with it. It's to say, okay, if something goes wrong, who? Well, we know the answer. It's us. So, and don't get me wrong, whenever I look at demos, I think that technology is like amazing. I think, this thing really is incredibly smart, and it's only the beginning. How this thing will behave in 10 years' time, we can only dream of. It's going to be absolutely amazing. But who takes ultimate responsibility whenever the thing goes wrong? Because it will, not less and less often. In some corner cases, we can all imagine where these things that it won't happen that often, but it will. Who is going to take responsibility? And that's to me the big limit of all these efforts. Listen, Jan, this has been an absolutely wonderful conversation.
Yep, same here.
It's been super nice. We'll be back with more episodes of We Speak Your Language before long. Let's wait for September and October. In the meantime, it's been lovely talking to you.
Yeah, same. It was great. And take care. See you soon, I hope.
See you soon. Bye-bye.